All right, how's it going, everybody? Good to see you. We did make it on air today. That's great. Excited about that. I wish the day had gone a little better. Started out wonderful and hasn't been so great since then. No health issues, other stuff, not work related. But anyway, we're here. First live stream of 2024. So I want to say some greetings, first of all, to everybody. Hello to everyone out there in Minions Land. It's good to be here. Kind of needed to do this for an hour or so tonight just to kind of calm myself down. Like I said, it's been kind of a wacky day. I want to send a few thank yous out to people. If you're here tonight, thank you. If you're just lurking in chat, listening, or whatever, thank you. If you're watching a replay, thank you. All right. Please consider hitting that like button for me, all right, as you watch. So let's start out with something simple, guys, tonight. I will start some greetings, but let's drop your pocket checks in chat, okay? Just start dropping them in as you get in here. I'll try to call out as many as I can, but that way everybody else can see what you got going on. I got a few new things here, a few things to talk about. So we're going to get started right away. Let me get some greetings going here and figure out who we got. Let's see. Angelo left a little wave. Anna's going to try to be here after a meeting. Hello to her. Native Wild Man's in the house, throwing out some greetings to myself and Mrs. Edge. Some bananas. Fook Doozle's in here. Evening all. Hopefully everyone who won a prize in my holiday giveaway gets one. Okay. Let's see. Marco's in here. What's going on? Grumpy Grunt's here. He says, Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you, Grumpy. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Let's see who else is in here. Pretty Fly for a Knife guy's in here as well. There's a few of you folks in here already. Let's see. Who else do we have in here? Who else? We got Joe Cashbricks in the house. Let's see. Somebody's already thrown up pocket checks. Pretty Fly's got a Spider Coast Shaman, a Yuki Tech Trinity, and a Kavist Vanish. All three really cool knives. Michael Keppel's in here. What's up, Michael? Michael is carrying a PM3 by Spyderco and 10V and a Deca V2. I love Deca V2s. Bug out killer. What else have I got? Let me throw some shout outs out there too real quick. So I want to throw some shout outs out there to you, all you minions in general. Specifically, though, I want to send some shout outs to Satu Dave, to Josh, Uncle Cow, to Bluminati Ninja, my man, Q Ball, who's got a lot of family stuff going on. He could use your thoughts and prayers right now. So please send positive thoughts and positive energy and prayers to Q Ball if you would, please. And then, of course, Mrs. Edge, who is doing better and better every week, even though today we are dealing with some frustrating things that we have going on outside of the knife community. But I'm not going to get into that today. I'm going to focus on the live stream for now. So pocket checks, keep throwing those in. We'll see who else jumps in here in the next little bit. But I'm only going to be on the air about an hour and 20 minutes, maybe, hopefully. So we will definitely have a bunch of stuff to get through. Got my Vosti Thunderbird and Civivi Vision today. Very nice. Very, very nice. There's Dawn. What's up, Dawn? Good to see you. Again, throw your pocket checks out. Native Wild Man's got a Cold Steel Counterpoint 1, a Benchmade Barrage, Rough Rider Green Peanut, Benchmade Hidden Canyon Hunter, and some rocks. If you looked at my Instagram today, you saw what I had in my pocket today. It was my day off, so I got to carry something a little different. Fook says, I'm going to be listening and lurking for a bit, cooking dinner. That's fine. We're going to be looking forward to getting some dinner after we're done here as well. Let's see what else we got going on here. So let me talk about a couple other things real quick. Threw up a new knife review today. That is for the CJRB Echo. That knife reviews right around 5 minutes. Going forward, most of my knife reviews are going to be around 5 minutes or so, 5 to 6 minutes. I'm doing that to try to kind of cut down on the viewing time and hopefully raise viewership. My shorts I've been really happy with. I've been getting a lot of views on those, but put a lot of time into doing knife reviews. And when you spend 8, 10, 12 minutes doing a knife review and you don't get very many views on it, consistently, then on them inconsistently, then it makes me think, you know, my average viewer time when I look at analytics is about 7 minutes. So I'm going to try to keep most of my knife reviews to 5 to 7 minutes or less, unless it's something really cool that I really want to push out to people and say, hey, you know, I want to talk a little more about this knife. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. Let's see. Anna's got the Love Them Knives red result. Yep, that's cool. And the Kavist variant PE1. I have one of those too. Grumpy says, I'm fighting a bad head cold, so Edgy Blade works. Grunt is it. Congrats on the 1K. Yes, I will put together some kind of a 1K celebration coming up. I don't know when that's going to be. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But right now seems to be a little bit of a hectic time. We've got some weird stuff going on. Like I said, we have to take care of probably over this week. Joe Kasper's got the Depot Mash and the Mini Griptilian Fenix LD30. And then let's see what else we got here. Hope you feel better soon, Grumpy. I have a horrible cold or flu today. Blah. Ugh. Yeah, being sick is no fun. So knife reviews will still be coming. I put one up today. There's 2 more already scheduled. The next one will be on the Miguron Carix. I'm doing a review on this. A lot of people have been talking about these knives lately, and you'll want to check that one out. That one's, again, right around 5 minutes. And then I also have the Kaiser Lieb M button lock coming up. Those will be my next couple of reviews. There'll definitely be more shorts than reviews. I will try to get reviews out as time permits. Today, I was able to do a bunch of them before the whole day went to poop. So there's that. I will be doing a drunken knife review section, and we will be going over the Minions Carry Knives Instagram section, and something a little different I'm going to do too once we get a little further along here. Let's see who else is in here. Urban Woodsman is in here. Yay. Nate made it in. Hey, friends at work listening, carrying Kaiser Gemini, Lumentop Tool AA, also wearing Eionan's Edge hoodie. My man, Nate representing. All right, good to go. Yeah, Grumpy, you gotta stop copying, Grumpy. Joe's throwing out some love. So let's just jump in. Let's get going a little bit here on what we're doing. We'll see how things roll as we move through the live stream. I don't know how many people are in here. Not a ton. I think we got about 20 people in here right now. But I wanted to go over and look at Minions Carry Knives. So let's go do that next. Let's do a screen share, and I will go over to Minions Carry Knives, and we'll check that out real quick, okay? All right, so here we go. We're in Minions Carry Knives. Obviously, I've been posting some stuff over here. We'll go and we'll check out some hashtag knives first. We'll get a good look at these. See what kind of new stuff's been thrown in here. Oh yeah. Oh, there's some good stuff in here, huh? You gotta love this. Gotta love it. Let's see. We got Lord Needham, of course, always bringing some heat. I already like that one. Let's see what else is in here. 0 bites throughout this. I like that. That was really nice. It's a great picture. Rich Kasner. I dig that. I don't know how I missed this one. I have noticed, I was talking to Mitch Bolig about this, that for some reason, there's certain people's stuff that hasn't been showing up in my stream. Like I go to their actual page and I see all this content that they put up, like multiple things they put up that I've never seen before, right? So that's a little weird. It's something going on with Instagram. I don't know if that's part of them kind of throttling knife content or not, but I went over and liked a bunch of stuff by hand. So if you're not seeing somebody's page show up, go over to their page and check it out and just like that stuff manually, individually, right? And then hopefully that stuff maybe will start showing back up in your feeds again, because I don't want to miss people's content. Pizza Operator is pretty cool. A little Microtech Malibu, outdated knife, but still pretty fun, pretty decent. We got a Vero here from G-Ball, like that one. Last Ranger, Real Steel Ventus. Huh. Would like to see what the blade looks like on that, but I liked it anyway. Another Rich Kasner one. This is pretty cool. I like the red theme and Spider-Man. That's pretty awesome. Pizza throwing out some heat there too. That bottom knife, that QSP Hedgehog in milled titanium, that is a C. Risner Cutlery exclusive, and I have that same knife as well, and I love it. It's one of the coolest slip joints I've ever owned. There she is. There she is, right? The Sparrow Strix. Supposedly today in the mail, sometime today, tonight, hopefully, my Strix is supposed to arrive here. I did get one off the second drop. I got the plain Jane version like this, but without the cool looking holes that kind of add to the acoustics of the knife. But I basically got that same knife. It should be here tonight. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. Let me check out stream real quick, see what we got going on, guys. Stressful day. Oh, dude, it's been a super stressful day, and it ain't over. Like, it's not gonna end like tonight. It's gonna be something that's we're gonna have to take care of. But I needed to come on and do the stream. I didn't want to miss 2 weeks in a row. It's actually the same issue that caused us issues last week. It's not a work-related issue. It's not a health-related issue, other than it's extremely, extremely annoying and frustrating for us. But anyway, back to the stream. It says, what somebody said, I haven't used the hashtag since it never showed my content. Yeah, I don't understand why that happened, Johnny. I really don't. I wish I could help you on that, but you know how Instagram is. I'm trying to look and see what else. Take a shot of hot pepper sauce. You'll feel better. Yeah. Stephen Wallace is in here. I saw him a second ago right there. There he is. Throwing out some greetings. Just Ohio's in here. Awesome. Lots of greetings being thrown out. Yeah. So let's go through a few more of these real quick, and then we'll move on to some other content. Let's see. We got nice. Oh, I like this. Okay, but first coffee. Yeah, I love coffee. I wish I could drink it more often. Messes with my stomach these days. Another really nice one from Rich Gatter. Nice photos, man. I like them. Last Stranger throwing up another one. That's pretty cool. A B Shady 22. Looks like he's got a bug out there. Huh. Okay, pretty cool. Looks like you got a bunch of stuff in a giveaway. I like it. There's one of mine, of course, right? That was from last week. Another Rich Kasner one. Cool, cool. Like it. And one more. Yeah. Oh, I got the little Savivi Odium, which is like the Ferrum Forge mini Archbishop. I like that. So you can kind of see what we're doing there with Minions Carry Knives. So if you do have an Instagram account and you want to get your knives on this page that I've been showing, all you have to do is just put hashtag Minions Carry Knives, all one word, in there in case you're not one of those people who's already doing that. And basically, they'll show up there. They should, except for Johnny. I don't know why Bluminati's is not showing up there. It never has, apparently. I wish I could help him out with that. But yeah, if you want to get your stuff up there and have us take a look at it, just tag it, and we'll with that hashtag, and we'll go in and take a look during the live streams. Is it a fire team of close friends and a trip to the desert with shovels kind of problem? Asking for a friend. Is not, but it's like just a couple steps below that. Involves a lot of money and some other issues. But anyway, let's see. Everybody having a good time there. Good. So a couple of things I wanted to cover. Let's see. Where else are we at with? Before we jump back into the Instagram things, you know, I always have at least one or two sections of the show that I try to make be a fun thing, right? We always want to like have some fun out there. So I'm only going to do one this week because I have other stuff I want to talk about and other stuff I want to show you guys. But we're going to do Drunken Knife Review segment. Okay. So I only picked out one for this week. I thought was pretty good. Don't forget to drop your pocket checks in here, right? For me. But it's going to be Drunken Knife Review time. We're going to do that. And I'm going to remove this for now, and we will share up with you. We will share up with you something else here. Okay. So this week I chose The Bearded Doom. Now I love Doom. He's a great guy. I don't know how I didn't hit like on that. He's a great guy. He's done a lot for the community. He's been a good friend to me. He's helps a lot of people out. And obviously he's a unique character. So Drunken Knife Reviews today will be Bearded Doom unboxing a Nate Hawk alien utility cutter. This ought to be a good one. This ought to be pretty fucking interesting.
Good afternoon, evening, or night to you all, my friends. Doom here. And we've got another quick unboxing. Today we are using the Nighthawk. The alien, I guess is called. Yeah, we're using that to open this up. This package is coming to us from Dirty Wizard, Monster Z666 on the Instagrams. If you've been following my live,
I love it.
My lives, you know that this is all stuff that I brought in. Well, one thing that I brought in for
it looks like some like
Turner.
I know it's not, but it looks like some box of just random stuff that somebody mailed.
This right here, and I guess he decided that I was getting the junk drawer.
Oh, that's priceless. That's made me laugh so hard.
Here. So stressful. Got some sticky things.
It's a calculator.
I got more sticky things. Holy crap! Is that a PS2? A PS2?
It does look like somebody shipping a junk drawer from their kitchen, doesn't it? It looks like somebody just took a bunch of stuff out of a drawer in like their study or their kitchen and just went, "I'll just give them a whole bunch of this stuff."
Okay. Little rubber eraser. My daughter will actually like that. My wife will probably use the other stuff. Got just a green bracelet. Got one glove. 2 glove. He might have used those to touch his pee-pee. I don't know. What the hell is this? Personal urinal bag. For men, women, and children. This is the Travel John. I guess you just go pee in it or something. I wonder if I could poop in it. I might have to try that. Got a calculator.
Where's the calculator? Oh my god.
Got a Vaxxed.
Hey, I went and got a COVID shot. They gave me this stupid lanyard. What do I do with it? I'll ship it to Doom.
Holy old ass
Nick kind of an old dial-up modem. Bong bong. Ping ping.
Etherlink 3.
Oh my god.
I had one of these things back in like The 90s. Oh, look at
I'm
that.
dying.
Old
It is one of my favorite ones, Mike.
jumper cable. Okay. Got a SATA jumper cable. We got a paper clip.
3 bandages.
Got a staple remover.
Stable. Hey, you never know when you might need a stable.
I got a couple of pens. Oh, yeah, I like pens.
Oh, good God.
MedTech MVP.
I want to see what this other thing is in here.
MedTech.
I didn't watch it this
Veteran
far.
Partnering Conference.
Oh, there we go. Carolina Reaper.
Joe's Carolina Reaper.
Score.
Uncured bacon jerky. This sounds dangerous.
Okay, so anyway, you guys get a few good yucks. Go check out the rest of the video if you like. Obviously, if you're not subscribed to Doom, what the hell are you doing? Go over to Bearded Doom's channel and subscribe to him. Great guy, great member of the community. Has done a ton of stuff for lots of people. So go check out the rest of the video if you want a good laugh at half speed. And then obviously check out his other content. Also, Doom has a knife coming out too. You might want to go take a look at that. There are plenty of videos on his site of the knife that he is going to be, that's going to be coming out. That he designed or co-designed. I forget which one it is. Says, this reminds me of my old past when I'm putting Batman music on top of Taylor Swift videos. I'll have to try that sometime. Wildman says, staple remover I used to pretend that they were dinosaur jaws. Me too. I would. Right? So, Beaver Baron's in here. I saw that. I saw his name pop up a second ago. So hello, Beaver Baron, wherever the heck you are on the chat list there. Also, don't forget to toss up your knife if you'd like. But what's up, Beaver? Appreciate you, brother, stopping in. Glad you got your stuff. Cool. So we've looked at Minions carry knives. Again, just keep throwing your pocket checks up there if you just came in late. So we can do that. And then the other thing I wanted to do was I'm going to go back to Instagram, and I wanted to talk about the evolution of my Instagram page and go back and look at some of the pictures and then talk about some of the knives I actually carried. And we could maybe have a little conversation about this, which is what I would like to do. So let me do a reshare one more time. There we go. And share screen. Let's go back over here to Instagram. And we're going to go to my profile. So let's go down here and let's kind of take a look. So if we go back and we look, I kept experimenting with different ways to put the page across. For instance, I tried this and I thought that looks pretty cool. That's what I carried on one of my days off, right? I had the Todd Knife and Tool Best Tech knife over there. I forget what that's called. It's not a Bandit. It's something else. And I had a flashlight and an SD Classical Jersey carry. And then I had my knife, one of my knives I absolutely love, one of my top knives, which was the EMP EDC Nimble W, and a fidget ball, which is now in a display case over there. And I kept struggling with how I wanted to do photos. So then I did one right after that looked like this. So this is the Old Dominion Chupacabra 3.5 with a Hank and an MK Amazonza and a couple of obviously pocket items. And that's kind of the way I carried that stuff that day, right? So I had a 5th pocket knife. I had that knife in my other pocket and had a couple items wrapped up in my Hank. And I thought that looked pretty cool. I really, really dug the way that looked, but it just didn't quite fit for me. So let's see. Mike Reese is carrying an Arcane Crypt and a Kaiser Sparrow. And Justin, Ohio is carrying the Sen Cut Scepter. Thanks, guys, for throwing those up. I'm just going back over to check the chat real quick. And so then I kind of did this, which I thought, well, that's pretty cool, right? That, you know, I had the growler prototype and the wee banter and Hank and I put it on the wood. So this is the first time that I used the wood here. And this was October 18th of 2022. And I put it on the wood here in my entertainment center, and the light was pretty good. And I realized that the wood looked nice as a background and I could take some cool pictures. And then I kind of kept experimenting. I kept doing stuff like this, which looked great. And, you know, stuff like this, which looked great. There's Nick Ridgey's jersey, right? And that's all the stuff I carried in my pocket with a Hank laid out. But I just didn't like the way that looked. I just felt like it looked too fabric-y and all that. And then, you know, I did a few others. I did this one, which came out pretty nice. And then I got up here, and this was the first time that I laid down a folded Hank on the wood. And that's what I carried that day. I had the Neutron from TRM, the Atom, the larger knife from TRM, my Eionan's Edge coin that Mrs. Edge made me, which I broke because I dropped it and split it in half because it was bronze. I dropped it on hard ceramic floor. And then my flashlight and my knife, along with my Hank. And that was where I realized I was starting to get. I said, here's the picture where I thought I'm onto something. That's what I wrote in my comments. So it's kind of the evolution of the page, right? My wife likes how my wood looks. Well, that's a good thing. Hopefully she does. And then I finally started experimenting. You could see here that on this one, which came out really nice, this was a work day. All of this stuff is stuff I took to work. And that was pretty fancy carry for work day. If you see the pry bar in there, it's probably a work day because that never leaves my pocket. That O-Pry by Olay is a tool I use every single day at my job. So there was that. But then I kind of went back to this look. I actually carried all three of the ones I had at the time, all three TRMs in the same day, just to see which one I liked using better. And I kind of favored the Atom and the Shadow, which is the one on the black one on the top. And I did not carry any other pocket junk or even a SD Classic that day because I figured I got three knives. I could pretty much do what I need to do with these three knives. I love this carry setup, but I did the Hank square because I wasn't sure how I liked it. So that was really cool. That Lago, this was a great carry, by the way. This CJRB Lago, I still have in my collection. I carried this a bunch. I still carry it, put it in rotation when I can. And then I carried a Swiss Army knife Cadet, which they now actually call a Recruit. It's the same knife, but that's now called the Recruit. I carried the Cadet, the flashlight for work, my Hank, and a pry bar. So that was a workday carry. But this is where I kind of said, well, I like this idea. Which design do I like best? Then the next one I did was my Marine Crayons one with the Hogue Ballista, the Spartan Talos, my pry bar, a light for work. That was a clip-on light that day because it was dark out when I went to work that morning, and an SD Classic. And I went, I think this is what I'm going to stick with. So that's kind of the evolution of how I came into deciding that this is how I was going to set up my Instagram page. Like, it took me a lot of trial and error, but now I have a nice wooden background and I have a format that I like. I can show off the Hank folded up. I can show off whatever I had in my pocket, left pocket, right pocket, back pocket, whatever. And then, put all my stuff on there. Got your package. Thanks, man. Awesome. I hope everybody got their packages by now. Anna says, what should I look for in a Hank? Not a part of a typical EC, but more and more getting sold on trying at least. Here's my opinion on Hanks. The Hank size that Mrs. Edge makes, and I use the most. She made some really big ones, and I sent those out the first year as gifts. The big ones ended up being more of a layout Hank, meaning if you're the type of person who carries a lot of knives and you want to lay them out, say on a countertop or a table or whatever it may be, right? And you want to just lay the knives out and you want to have something to put them down on, then a larger Hank is nice. Well, I think most people in the knife community probably carry a 10 or a 12-inch hank. I think the ones that we're doing are 12 inches. Mrs. Edge would have to chime in on that and let me know. But when I fold them in half and then twice, you get what you see there. And I believe that's a 12-inch hank. And I like that because I can fold that up and I can put the non-knife stuff inside of it and just slide it into my left pocket. Then I can put my pry bar, my 5th carry knife in that side, and my primary knife in my right hand pocket because I'm right-handed. I would say you want good stitching. You want a quality fabric. If you're going to use it to wipe stuff off with, you might want a hank that has microfiber on the back of it. Mrs. Edge makes some like that for me too. By the way, she doesn't sell her hanks. She makes them for me. I use them on here. Some of them I give away as gifts at the end of the year. And then she usually makes a few Christmas hanks as well. And I give those away. Minions hanks, Christmas hanks, winter type hanks, things like that. You want good stitching. You want it to be well stitched, both in the center and around the edges. You want, obviously, you want something that folds up nice, material that's easily washable. That's important too. Microfiber is nice on the back side of a hank. So that, hopefully that answers a few of those questions, basically. Same thing on my Instagram, but I got a red table. There you go. So he's got a red table, right? What are people using for the hanks? So I use them for wiping my glasses sometimes. Cleaning knives, not really. I don't buy a lot of belt satin knives, although the one that's coming today is belt satin. But I don't typically like a lot of satin knives because satin gets all fingerprinty and mushy. And if you grab the blade and go to cut open a box, then you got fingerprints all the way. And guess what? You know what? Even though most of these knives are stainless, I don't want to put a knife away with my greasy, oily salt on my hands, with dirt, debris, whatever. I usually wipe the knife off before I put it away. And if I'm carrying a hank that day, then obviously I can just wipe it off, and so be it. I don't throw the hanks in the dryer. That never happens. They do get washed, but I don't put them in the dryer. So usually I'll use them for, wiping off my glasses, maybe cleaning off, a full satin blade. That's why I like stone washed better. Personally, I like bead blasted, black wash, regular stone wash. I like those kind of blades better. DLC is awesome too, right? But you don't have to worry about them getting all fudged up with your fingers or whatever you're cutting, right? Let's see. He says, I used the one you sent me last year mostly to get Panna out of the oven. Okay. So it really depends on you. I don't typically use my hanks very much. I don't blow my nose with them, although I could if I wanted to, but then I would fold it up and I wouldn't be wiping off a knife with it. Right? So I usually keep that the 10 to 12 inch hank. I think we're 12s are what she uses, and I usually keep that folded up in my left pocket on my day off, or if I'm carrying at work and I bring a hank in, I'll put it in my left pocket. I always have a handkerchief. I carry a lot of keys in my right pocket. So it makes it hard for me to carry some nice knives because I don't want to scratch the ever-loving crap out of expensive knives with a big old wad of keys that I have at work because I'm a supervisor and I carry a lot of keys around. Let's see. Todd Carr says, for my hanks, mostly glasses, summer's one for perspiration such. Exactly. So if my glasses get I hit them by accident, smudge them, I'll just take the hank out, wipe them off, put them back on. Or like I said, if it's, a nice knife and maybe it's, I'm carrying one with a polished or satin blade that day, then I'll wipe that. I'll just kind of wipe it off real quick. As long as there's not heavy debris or heavy, adhesive or something from cutting open a lot of boxes, I'll just wipe it down. And if it's at the end of the night, then yeah, I can wipe it down and throw it in the washing machine if I want when I'm done. Although most of the time I never get them quite that dirty. Anyway, let me look. I want to go show you a couple of other things. I want to talk about a couple carries. So this was a great carry this day. This worked out well. I used both knives that day and the pry bar and the flashlight in the morning. And that I think is key. I only want to carry the stuff I'm actually going to use. Same thing with this carry. I used both of those knives at different times during the day. The flashlight was clipped onto my hat. The SD Classic I use a lot if I get a sliver, if I need to cut something small off of something, right? If I need to just, file down one of my fingernails because it's sharp. All that stuff is in an SD Classic, okay? This was a great carry too. This was a day that I worked, but I actually carried a fixed blade in my pocket, which turned out to not be a smart idea. The riffle, the Civivi riffles at the top, I love that. the Top Scandi Trekker is a great knife, but I wouldn't carry it to work again. It was too big and too long, even with the leather sheath, to carry at work. Carried a little bigger flashlight that day because I knew I'd be in the dark that morning. And then pry bar and SD Classic once again. This was a pretty good carry here too. So this was the Tucson 319. Awesome knife. I wish I had been able to find this in carbon fiber, but I have the micarta version. Has a really nice edge on it. Good ergo, smallish knife. And then I went with the slip joint because this was a day off carry. It was my day off. I didn't really need a lot of knives in my pocket that day. I thought I might need a flashlight at some point, so I had that in case I went for a walk later in the evening or something. But love that Hank too, that blue pattern with the embossing on it, and then the other side of it is like an orange peel looking color. So this was a good carry for a day off carry, right? And that's, I guess, what I'm getting at. Glasses, sunglasses, camera lenses, cell phone screen, motorcycle side mirrors, anything else that I got shiny surface and I guess smudges. But exactly. So there you go. Or it just depends what you might need it for that day. Hanks are great. I highly recommend people carry one or a microfiber cloth or both. Sometimes you got to do unexpected things like wipe a smudge off a windshield or your glasses or whatever. And that's why I say I do have some Hanks that have microfiber on one side and have the regular cotton fabric pattern design like you see here on the other side. As a matter of fact, I made a whole bunch of full microfiber cloth Hanks out of this cool piece of brown microfiber. It was like a embossed one that Mrs. Edge found. And all of my inner circle knife buddies actually loved it so much. I kept giving them away and she kept making them. And then she hasn't made me another one since then. I think there's a little bit of material left. But that was useful too. Having a double microfiber sided Hank was really cool. So back to the Instagram stuff. So looking at this, let's see what other days. This was a good carry as well. This was the Doug Ritter RSK 20 CV. And then I carried the Civivi Odium. And this was a day off carry as well. I had a yes, no coin, a nice Hank, flashlight, and again, an SD Classic. You'll notice that that's one of the things that's in my pocket a lot. Believe it or not, this, even though it looks awesome, was not a great carry. The Ferrum Forge has a similar, although not identical, blade shape to the Kunwu Ronin. And although I liked carrying the knife and the flashlight and the Hank matched and all that, I found that I wished I had a different blade for some of my utility cutting tasks the day that I carried the Ferrum Forge. That is the Ferrum Forge Stinger, I believe, right? Ferrum Forge Stinger, yes. So there's that. And then this was a great carry. This was a great carry. This was the Megaron Mayoral. This was in my main pocket. In my fifth pocket carry was the Civivi Baby Banter, which I'm carrying again today. And I think actually I'm carrying that same Hank. This was a workday carry. So I had the baton to put on the clip on my hat in the morning. I had the pry bar that I use for multiple tasks every day at work. And then, of course, I had my SD Classic. No extra pocket stuff because, well, it's a workday. And then we get to this. So, guys, this turned out to be a great carry. This, one of my all-time favorite knives, possibly in my top 5 favorite knives, the EMP EDC Nimble XV2. And then I carried my OG Nimble in my fifth pocket, flashlight, knife, pry bar, Hank. Wasn't a day where I had to do a ton of stuff at work, so I carried some really nice knives. And everything I needed to do that day got done with those 2 knives. I only used the Nimble X once, but I used the OG Nimble 3 or 4 times to slice up some boxes and do stuff like that. I used the pry bar to pop hubcaps off of golf carts for members and residents who are always forgetting to put air in their tires or coming up with flats. I used the small blade on the SD Classic to cut off a tire plug, like a tar type of rubber tar type of tire plug for plugging a golf cart tire. So everything in there got, and I used the flashlight in the morning. So everything in there got used. So that's kind of the evolution of how things go. Like this was a workday carry, and I just wanted to carry the Finch and see how I liked it. And I love the knife. So I carried that to work one day, obviously pry bar in there. See what you guys are talking about in the stream. I mean, it's Miss Carr driving in the car. Sorry if you're not being able to see this. Back to driving and listening. So kind of, I'll go through some more of these later at a later date and time, but I just kind of, I'll go through a couple more, but I just wanted to kind of show you sort of, this is what I try to do with the Instagram page. I try to show you combinations of knives I've carried together. I'm going to go over a couple more because this turned out to be a fantastic carry combination. These are both Spartan knives. The first one is the Aster in carbon fiber. That is a super rugged knife, and it is really, I mean, you can do a lot of good cutting tasks with that. It's a really well-built, rugged knife. CTS XHP for steel, great steel. And then I carried the Spartan Talos, which is their medium size pocket liner lock folder, also in CTS XHP. These two knives complemented each other really well. I found that the size of the Talos, the smaller knife, was good. I could just choke up on the blade, do any box cutting I needed to do. The bigger knife was great for when I cut rope or I was, you know, cutting open bigger boxes, a couple different tasks I had that day. And then obviously I carried a gray Hank and a flashlight and a small SD Classic. So that was a great combination. Both of those knives make excellent, excellent carry knives. I've reviewed both of them as well. So you can look on my page for those. And then finally, I'm almost done. Finally, I had to do this. I had to do this. I had to carry the Stout and the Pony Stout. The Pony Stout has been, last year was probably the most carried knife I had in my pocket on a work day because it does everything I want. It's a great utility cutter. I don't really have to worry about the knife with black G10, or you can get micarta too, black G10 or micarta. It did everything I wanted. 14C steel kept a great edge. Only ever had to strap that knife. And I carried the regular Stout too. And I realized the regular Stout, I didn't really need it. I don't think I used the knife that day, but it was an interesting carry just to see the size differential. I was like, let me see what tasks I can accomplish with the Pony Stout. And then if I think I need a bigger knife or something, if I think one of my cutting tasks is too big, I'll switch over and I'll switch over and use the regular original Stout, which is the one up above. And I didn't really end up using the regular Stout, if my memory serves me correctly. I only used the Pony. I did use the flashlight and the SD Classic that day. So one more. I decided once I got all four of the knives I wanted from TRM, Three Rivers Manufacturing, that I was going to carry all of them in the same day. And I did. I carried the two smaller knives in one pocket and then the Atom and the Shadow in my other pocket. And what I realized was that any combination of the two smaller knives and a larger knife was perfectly fine for everything I wanted to do. Also gives you an idea of sort of their design philosophy. You can see that the Nerd, the little tiny knife, which came from Blade Show this past year, that was sort of, you know, like to me, like I always wanted to see how big is it? It is tiny. And does it make a good fifth pocket carry knife? Yes. For small cutting tasks, absolutely. Great steel, but it's obviously a tinier version and less complicated version of the Shadow, which you see up on the top, which is a fantastic knife. It is a great all-around knife, and it is amazingly, amazingly put together. All-American made all these knives, machined well, in-house titanium, in-house machining. Everything they do on these knives is done by TRM in Massachusetts. So I wanted to have all three knives that day to compare for some different tasks, and it was an interesting experiment. So that kind of gives you an idea. I carried these two as well, the Kvist PE and then the Kvist Invert. Just I put them in separate pockets and I took them out during the day to try them, and it really depends what you want. If you want a utility cutting blade, you want the PE. And if you don't mind having a drop point style blade and a little bit different curve to the handle, obviously the curves are exactly opposite too, then the Invert is probably for you. But again, use both of those knives, and really it just depended on what kind of cutting tasks you wanted to get accomplished. So I'll stop there for the day. We'll start up next time with Nick Ridgey's Jersey, which is a beautiful knife, and I'll talk more about that and why I love carrying that. But you can go through here and look and see what some of my other carry combinations were. These are all things that I carried. Here is today's carry, right? Let's see what else we got going on over here in the chat. Oh, well, we got Josh Branson stop by. He said, hey, fellas, the last few days has been brutal. Just want to stop by and share some love with Rich in the chat. Just ain't feeling it today. Have a good day. I understand you, brother. I understand you, Josh. I've started out having one of the best days off I've had in a long time, and it kind of went downhill pretty quickly. And then I just jumped in the live stream here to just kind of blow off some steam and meet with you guys and hang out for an hour or so and hopefully have some fun. So hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. I understand when you're not feeling it or you're just having a tough one. Let's see. Everybody's kind of throwing out some love to you, telling you, hey, you know, hope the rest of the week is better for you. I hope the rest of our week is better for us too. Today, this afternoon was not good. Not good. The Kavist brothers. There you go, right? Hey, from New Zealand, David Neal, what's going on, brother? Which Finch? Are you talking about this one? That is the Chernobyl ant in ironwood. It comes in a couple different handle materials. I have handled the burlappy one and the kind of resiny plasticky one, and the wooden handle one is by far the best, in my opinion. I got it as an Apex review knife, and I didn't want to send it back. And I sent it back. Of course, I was supposed to, and I did. But then I couldn't find one for a long time, and I did buy one, I don't know, about 6-7 months ago. 6 months ago, 5 months ago, whatever. I finally got my hands on my own, and I absolutely love it. But that was a knife I carried for Apex review, and I fell in love with it. That's the Finch Chernobyl ant. So just to gives you an idea of some of the knives I've carried, you know, like here, obviously I carried a utility cutter, a medium-sized knife, and a large knife. That was pretty interesting too. And I'll go over some more of these in our next live stream and tell you what my thoughts were on the individual knives as carry pieces. But lately I've carried some pretty cool knives. I've tried to go back through my collection and carry knives I didn't get a chance to carry much. That's always fun. So hopefully that answered the question on the Finch, though. Yes, that's the Chernobyl ant. Exactly. So that's kind of the genesis of the Instagram account. That's what I use the Instagram account for. I use the Instagram account to post pictures of things that I'm carrying or have carried. Maybe I didn't carry it that day all the time. Sometimes I'll like, hey, I carried this the other day and it was really cool. Let me put it down, take a picture of it, and show everybody what I carried. And I like matching knives up and kind of getting a feel for what does the job, what suits the purpose. And again, it really depends on what I'm doing that particular day. Recently I had a ZT carry day where I carried two classics, right? A Sinkovich and a 0350. And that was a lot of fun too, because it was a little nostalgic because, you know, I went back to some knives that I've had a long time that I really, really enjoyed and put them back into my carry rotation for that day at least. And it kind of reminded me of why I bought those knives and why I loved them. And then, you know, sometimes I'll carry knives and I'll carry them a few times and I'll realize they just don't quite do it for me. And I might sell them. I might give them away at the end of the year, things like that. They might be part of a giveaway. So that's part of what I do with the Instagram account. Just so you understand, that's why I use this format now. I found a format that I like. I can show what I have in my pocket. I can show what I carried different days of the week. And that seems to work out pretty well. And, you know, I enjoy doing that. Let's see. Anna says TPK sale a few weeks ago on Finch's was so hard since they have so many great models all around the same price, trying to target some other purchases. So couldn't go crazy. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Traditional pocket knives had it, but then Finch also had a sale on their website too for the same amount. So you could go to Finch's website and get the same discount that TPK offered. So it wasn't like you didn't necessarily have to buy from TPK, although I buy from them and have enjoyed buying a lot of knives from them. One Moon, what's up? What's up, my man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. He says, I love your content, man. Keep it up. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Futu says, I enjoy doing that. That's a critical piece of the puzzle. You know, it says, exactly. Like trying to figure out what knives you like to carry with other knives is important. Like I have way too many knives. I don't know. I'm guessing probably 250, 300, something like that. I stopped counting at like 200 a long time ago. And I've sold and given away knives. Some of you guys don't know this because I don't typically talk about it, but every year for the holiday live stream event, I pick a longtime channel member who I feel has been extra supportive. And I usually do something nice for them at Christmas above and beyond all the giveaways. The last 3 years, actually, I've given away a knife at Christmas. The last 2 years, it was to actual channel members. The year before, it was to somebody in the knife community. And I do that behind the scenes. I'm not looking for extra credit on that. I don't, that's not what it's about. It's more of a, hey, you know, thanks for, you know, for doing what you do. So there are knives that I'm not going to keep in my collection. And as time goes along, there's knives I kind of weed out because I don't carry them enough, or they're really nice, but maybe they just didn't quite fit my hand. And if you don't carry them all the time, there's no way you're going to know, right? I don't have a single knife in my collection that I have not carried and or used at least once, right? Most of my stuff's been carried plenty of times. So that's going to be it for the Instagram stuff for today. We'll go look at a few more next time, but I'm going to go back to my channel real quick because I want to talk about something that I put up in the community tab. So today I mentioned to you guys, and I'll share this so you guys can take a look in case you haven't already seen it. Let's go to share screen. I think it's this one. Yep. So here's a share of my knife wish list. So I want to know, do you guys keep a knife wish list? Do you keep one? Do you have an actual list that you look at? I've kept this list for a long time, but nothing was in order. And then I went through this past week and I said, if I'm going to put this up and show people what my current wish list is as of right now, today, I would at least like it to be like in some kind of organized order. So I didn't put prices on. I just put the knife maker, and then the knife that I am looking for from them. Now, I'm doing this because I want to see what other members of the community are looking for. When I first started my channel, I bought a ton of knives that were budget to say affordable, say $20 to $100, $150, $100 or so. And I did that because I wanted to have some variety on the channel, and I wanted to explore more knives myself and share that with you, share the reviews of the knives that I did. And that's really why we're here, right? I'm here because I like sharing the knives that I come across, that I get a chance to use, carry, and review, and tell you what I think of them. So maybe you'll see that and go, wow, I didn't even know that knife existed. I really like that. That happens to me all the time. I see a knife that Grumpy has because he has the same task as me, right? Showing you stuff that he uses and that you might or might not like. G-Ball, Matisfaction, right? Cole, although Cole might show you pictures of a onesie or a flashlight on, or a 10,000 lumen, death ray flashlight on his live stream sometimes. But that's what we do. So I thought it would be cool to ask you guys, do you have a knife wish list? And tell me what a couple of the knives are that are on it. Throw them in chat so we can talk about it. Here's some of mine, and we'll talk about some of those as I can look through the list. Also, just as a side note, if you happen to have one of these knives that you don't want and you're interested in getting rid of it sometime, hit me up. Hit me up over on Instagram, send me an email, whatever. I'm not necessarily, I'm buying all these knives right now, but these are knives that I want to have in my collection for one reason or another. So only a wish list on dealers' websites. Minions Boss has big old sweet gooey inside, very gooey. I am a big softie. I am. I admit it. Let's see. I have a big list with prices. So this all had prices on it. I just took the prices off because I don't feel like the prices really mean anything. It's just, I just put the prices for new knives, and that might not reflect current market value at the moment or what I could pick one up on the secondary market for or something like that. Good evening, Lord Needham. What's going on? We're just talking about knife wish lists. Do you have one? Is it just in writing? Mine is on a notepad file on my phone, and every time I see a new knife I like, I usually add that knife to it if it's something I want to check out or buy. Let's see. Honestly, Fook Doozle says, honestly, I don't keep a list. When finances aren't great, a wish list feels more like a disappointment list. That's true. Here's the thing. The most frustrating part of collecting knives in a lot of ways is you see a knife that you could afford. You say, I could afford that, right? but it's dropping like this week and you don't have the money. Or you just bought a knife. Like I just bought a Sparrow Strix. Wanted one of those since before they released the first drop of them. And I finally scored one, and hopefully it's going to show up here in the mail today. Maybe it's out there on my doorstep now. Who knows? But I bought that. That's an expensive knife. And then I was like, yeah. And then Lewis dropped his ATK Halt, and I'm like, I love the knife. It looks really cool to me. I would love to check it out, but don't have that money right now. It's going to be a little bit. So I understand the finances thing, and the price is really irrelevant. Whatever your budget is, if your budget is, man, I really want to buy that $70 knife, and you just bought a $70 knife and you don't have 70 more bucks to buy another one, then you're in the same boat. That's always the toughest part about collecting in the knife industry. A lot of this stuff, it comes and it goes, right? It's not like you're buying, everybody's not out there buying a Kershaw that they make 5,000 of. Most of these knives, they're putting out, if they're a premium knife, they're putting out a couple hundred of them, right? So Lefty and Colin and Kevin will order, 500 knives or 800 knives. They're not ordering, 10,000 knives. They're not manufacturing that many because they know their market is a lot smaller than that. So that's always going to make collecting a competitive thing in terms of trying to figure out what you want to buy and what you have the money to buy, right? Let's see. And I don't have a list of specific knives, but I do have some idea of what I gravitate toward. Community designs, good value U.S. knives, upgrade overall EDC capacity and capability. Well, there you go. For me, my list is focusing a little bit more on premium to upscale knives because I believe those are the knives I'm going to want to keep in my collection for many, many years. And then at some point, I'm going to want to hand those down to my kids. And if my kids don't want them, then I'm going to sell a whole bunch of knives and go on a big ass vacation and take Mrs. Edge on a really nice vacation someday with all those. And it says, I felt the same way about that. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I would really love to check it out, but the timing was really bad. And then we have the Vault coming out, Jacob Lundquist knife with QSP. That looks totally amazing. That's coming out on February 1st. Like there's a whole bunch of knives coming out that I really, really want to try to get in on. I'm really bummed I missed the Tempest Jet stream. I really, really like that knife. The timing was all messed up for that. I just couldn't pull the trigger on one. I have a short list on my phone's notepad. That's what this was my phone list. Obviously it's a little bigger. Bloom Knight says the Storm Cloud Fractus #1 on my list at the moment. There you go. So that's what I'm saying. Like people that are looking in chat right now are looking at my list and looking at what you guys are posting and thinking I don't even know. Maybe you don't even know what some of these knives are. So you might want to go check them out. So that's why I put my list up, just so you can kind of see this is the stuff I'm excited about. The Devo Growler V3 Titanium, that's coming out soon. The Devo Mash V2 Premium is also coming out in mid-February, I think. And so there's a couple knives I want to buy. I know I want those knives, and I just haven't been able to pull the trigger on them, or they haven't come out yet. The Goat Head Knives Hunter V3, I think he's up to now. Reviewed one, loved it. Every time I have the money for that, some other knife comes up, and I keep kicking myself in the butt for not getting one, but I will at some point. You can, if you don't do Instagram, you can get in touch with me, Anna, by hitting me up at eionansedge@gmail.com. That is my channel email. I do check that at least a couple times a week. Sometimes daily. It depends on what's going on in my life. But hit me up at eionansedge@gmail.com. It's also listed in my about information on my website. I don't have a list other than my skull. And let's see. I want the Blue Sky Fractus. There you go. So the Fractus has come up a few times. So let's take a look at the list real quick because I wanted to go over some knives that are on here. Artisan Ahab, not an expensive knife. I think it's really cool. Would love to have it in my collection just for the fun factor and the way that it comes apart. It is a what do you call it? The scales can be taken off like on a TRM, a Three Rivers Manufacturing. You can take the scales off without taking the whole knife apart, which I think is always fantastic, by the way. I wish more companies that make removable scales would do that. The Boker Plus Kraken OTF Black. I just want an inexpensive OTF. I've handled a lot of them. I don't know if I would really like carrying one, so I feel like I'll go with the less expensive one. If I really like that, I might move up to a Hogue OTF. I don't think I could afford a Microtech or something like that. Benchmade Mini Claymore Auto in black. I reviewed one and loved that. But I will not pay Benchmade's ridiculously insane pricing for a knife that I don't absolutely love to death. So I'll probably end up looking for one on the used market. The Blaurock BRB V4, that's a pipe dream. That's going to be super hard to score. Chris Reeves, Zam, Tanto. I've handled 2 of them, including Satu Dave's recently when I was over at his house back at the beginning of January. And we hung out for an evening and just kind of compared some knives and talked and looked at collections and compared stuff on different knives that we liked. And I looked at what he's doing, which is very exciting. But the Chris Reeves, the Zam really impressed me. That's a really cool knife. Christensen Knife Works Maverick S tie frame lock. Obviously, I mentioned the Devo Growlers. Let's see what else on here is really, like, I'm really excited about. The Kaiser Banish is coming out. The Hogue Misto just came out. The Kunwu Pulsar. So I actually have Kunwu Pulsar XL. I actually have a Kunwu Pulsar right now. But I always thought to myself, man, this is a great knife. I love the size. I love everything about it. But, man, I would love to see what this was like in a little bigger, scaled-up knife. Guess what? Well, they got one now. So that's on my list. Let's see what else we got going on here. I don't have a list other than my skull. You have your knife list tattooed to your scalp. I like that. That's pretty awesome. Then you just look in the mirror like this. You go, what's next? Okay, Zam. There we go. That'd be pretty cool to have Zam tattooed across my forehead, right here. Splitting Slices. What's up, Byron? Good to see you here, man. Glad you made it. I won't be on the air a lot longer, but I recommend changing the thumb stubs on the Ahab. Okay, good to know. Thanks, Josh. I would absolutely get a nice Benchmade if it were from a giveaway. Exactly. I mean, right now their pricing is they're not even in the right realm. If they think their knives are as good as Chris Reeves and Medford and Old Dominion and some of those companies, and they feel like they can charge $500-600 for knives that are not very innovative and are frankly not that much different looking than overall than a lot of other Benchmades, I'm going to pass. Let's put it that way. Some people have made comments on my review of the Benchmade Narrows, but that knife is not worth the money that they're charging for it in any way, shape, or form. I'm perfectly fine if people disagree with me and want to pay $500+ for it, but I'd rather buy a Spartan Harsey Saint. I'd rather buy a Chris Reeves and, in Cosi or Sabenza or whatever. Like I'd rather buy something like that than spend my money on a Benchmade with steel hardware and a $500 knife with steel hardware. Max Ace, there you go. OTF is only $108. There you go. I agree. Knife Nut. That's another cool one, right? Cold Steel Leatherneck Bowie is one that somebody wants. So this is what I was getting at. Like, what are you guys? What's on your wish list? What are you looking for? Kaiser Banish seems cool. I don't know why I'm throw out by the reason that you probably like Jacob's designs is because they might not always be the prettiest, but they're always functional. So to me, Jacob Lundquist, Kvist knives, or the knives that he's having done through Kaiser and some other companies now, he always tries to go functional modern, right? But with some little different flair. Like if you look at his knives, they don't look like anybody else's knives. The Veritas or Veritas, that doesn't look like anybody else's knife, really. I mean, and the milling on the Veritas is amazing, the Kaiser Veritas that he designed. The milling on that is just absolutely crazy. Even the little clip delete piece that goes in is almost perfectly milled. And they made a ton of those, right, to send out as a production knife. So there are some really, really cool designs that Jacob has done. And some of his new designs are pretty cool too. So I think there's that. They're functional. They look a little modern, but then they have some traditional elements in them. That's the other reason I like Finches. I collect the Finches because I love carrying a knife that has modern materials, modern deployment, modern machining, but looks traditional. QSP Hedgehog is another knife that's like that, right? Looks like a traditional slip joint until you open it and you hold it. But I mean, it looks like a modern knife, but then you open it up and find out it's a slip joint. So there's always that. Zam sounds like the noise Cookie Monster makes while he cooks. Nom, 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 nom. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Pretty fly. Benchmades on secondary, lots of them, right? And they're way far less than MSRP. I totally agree with you, Papa Rhino. By the way, welcome in. Good to see you. Don't forget to hit the like button for me as well. So that's kind of where I'm going with the knife list. You know, I'm looking at the list and thinking to myself, well, there's a lot of stuff on here. New breed Clydesdale, right? Microtech MSI. Microtech MSI is Microtech standard issue is what that means. Everybody seems to change the scales on those. It comes with a G10-ish type scale, or it comes with kind of like an FRN type of scale. A lot of companies, including OG Goat, are making scales for them now that are absolutely amazeballs. So if I ever get one of those, and I hope to, I would love to get a set of OG Goat scales for it. The Megaron armor is really cool. Big, chunky, overbuilt knife. Love that. Not too expensive. Under $300. The Pagos 2. The New Breed Clydesdale's awesome. Pretty good size knife. Pretty good materials. I really like the look of that knife. And then the fact that, you know, you could do anything you wanted with it. You could, you know, you could Cerakote it. You could, you know, change those scales, whatever you want to do. So it's a pretty cool looking knife. A Quiet Carry Drift. That's another one. Tactile Archer. That's my knife at the moment. I saw the Archer. I watched Cole's review of the Archer, and I was like, oh, must have an Archer. That is pretty much, for me, that general knife shape and blade style is almost my perfect knife design. It's very close. The Damn Designs Invictus that I have in Thai and S35 VN is another one of those knives. Like, it just feels perfect in my hands. It's exactly what I want. It's an all titanium knife. The Tactile Archer is that. And then if you want to go really awesome looking and just ooh and ah factor, the Tactile Maverick Thai stonewash blade, bronze accents on that knife. Amazing. Tempest Jetstream, Tops 3-pointer, a couple of Spartans at the bottom. So you can kind of look there and see, you know, I've got some choices. There's a few fixed blades on that list. There's an OTF. There's some less expensive knives. There's some quite expensive knives on that list. So just wanted to share my list with you and just kind of see what you guys are looking for, right? What kind of knives are on your to-buy list? Right? Fair enough. What else we got talking? Molten Labby's in here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Anna says, good points about the Kavist, JLD, Finch, Eionan's Edge. Modern slip joints with materials and manufacturing are starting to convert me. Yes, and, you know, I'm not going to be the kind of guy who's going to have a huge slip joint collection. I've got a handful of them, some older ones and some modern ones. And I tend to favor the modern ones a little more. I just do. I like I said, Finch is probably one of the best at that, at getting a modern looking, a classic design and turning it into a modern knife. The buffalo tooth is amazing that I have from them. The Chernobyl ant is another really nice knife. It looks like a traditional pocket knife, but when you flip it open, you're like, hey, that's pretty freaking cool, right? Like, it looks more like a knife that, you know, your father might have carried or your grandfather. And then you got the slip joints like the Jacks, you know, and stuff like that, that people like them because they've got all the fancy fat carbon handles and, right, all the cool coatings and the titanium parts in them and everything, but yet, and the higher end steels, but yet they look and carry like a traditional type of pocket knife. That's not my biggest thing. Slip joints are not my main category, but at the same time, I appreciate those knives and I understand why they make them. For me, Finch falls right into that sweet spot, you know, 100 to, you know, high 100 and say $70 in there or whatever. That's kind of that range you're going to be in with Finch, and you're going to get a lot of cool knives from them. Todd Carr says he's focusing more on fixed blades at the moment. For me, I always have a few fixed blades on my list. I just bought a fixed blade, and then I found out about Casey's freaking fixed blade dropping too. So I'm like, well, I don't have the money for that one either. I just spent money and bought a fixed blade. I bought that new Kubi fixed blade in blue micarta. The name escaped me for a minute. The MSI cones in fluted aluminum now too. Yes, exactly. Oh, comes in fluted aluminum. Oh, well, that's fantastic that they actually sell it that way. That's a knife I'm gonna score pretty soon too. I've held it. I've held one version of it, and I thought it was really, really cool. $80 more for aluminum. Nel Voodoo and Kunwu Padre are on the top 2 of my list at the moment as well, says Papa Rhino. Those are both really cool knives as well. Null makes a lot of knives. Native Wildman is looking at a Wee Cirrus in titanium. See, this is what I was trying to get us to. What are you guys jazzed about, right? My dad is happy with his old timer. I'm sure he is, man. I'm sure he is. And for some people, that's it. They just want a knife that's in a style they like, that's got good quality materials, and they don't really care about all the fancy stuff. And that's okay too, right? So anyway, we talked a little bit about that. We went over the wish list. It's been on the air about an hour and 10 minutes. My back is starting to get to me. We've got a few other personal issues to take care of. So I'm probably going to wrap things up. Not going to do story time tonight. Don't have time for that because I've got some other commitments. But I need to check out the Kubi fixed blade. Yeah, I wish I could remember what the heck that was. Hold on one second, and I will take a look, and I will tell you what it was I bought. I bought a. Let me look it up because I got the email here somewhere from her still. The JL Quaken, it's called. The JL Quaken Fixie. So Kwaiken. I bought that in 14C with blue micarta. And then I found out that like the next day or the next morning, whatever it was, that Casey was releasing a fixed blade as well. I think it is through Kubi, as a matter of fact. So I don't know. I just don't have the extra cash for both. Let's see, durable, sharp, stabby, slicey, choppy. That's all I need. T-fetch. You're right. I mean, the bottom line is, as long as the knife cuts and it serves the actual cutting purpose that you're using it for, good to go. If you're a knife enthusiast or a knife collector, then obviously you're not always collecting just because you plan on putting that knife to work every day. There's a few knives in my collection I'm not going to take to work with me every day because that's just not what I bought the knife for. But you know, I have friends over, I go out to dinner with somebody asks me about my knives, you know, I can take out an EMP EDC Nimble XV2 and show that to them, and everybody oohs and ahs over it because it's an amazing knife, right? Or you can take out a Chris Reeves, or you can take out, you know, a Blaurock, or you can take out a Strix, a Sparrow Strix or something. And, you know, it's a knife that people don't see those knives very often. The average person that might even like knives but doesn't collect them and maybe just carries one pocket knife on them, when you take out a knife like that and show it to them, it's always a ooh-ah moment. They're always like, oh, right? Like, wow, right? And a lot of people can't imagine spending $100 or more for a knife. And there's people out here in the forum tonight that spend $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 for a knife, right? There might be somebody out here on the forum who owns a Koenig Arius. Those are $900 to $1,300. So it really just depends on what your intent for that knife is. If you're a enthusiast, a collector, then yes, you're probably going to buy a bunch of expensive knives at some point in your life. Or maybe you just like buying knives only that you can put in your pocket every day and take to work with you. You still might end up with a whole bunch of those. That's how I started. And then I gradually got into collecting more premium knives as time went along. So it is a rabbit hole. There's no doubt about that. Matisfaction! What's up, buddy? What's up, y'all? Been lurking since Drunk Doom finally able to type. Thank you, brother. I'm really glad to see you here. Big shout out to you too. Always love my boy Matisfaction. Dr. Drew's in here as well. Gingerfish is in here. Nate said, Dr. Drew, you're a day late and $1 short. I'm not sure what that one was all about. Dr. Drew says, howdy, Eionan. Yeah, I'm getting ready to wrap things up here. We're going to have to figure out what we want to do for dinner and how the rest of our evening is going to go. But listen, I hope that you've had an entertaining hour and a quarter here. You guys have seen some cool stuff. We've talked about some cool knives. We've looked at some really cool pictures. We got to see a really funny video of the Bearded Doom. Again, if you're not subbed to him, you should be. Go check him out. Go play the video through all the way if you want, and you can laugh at that. He basically got a junk box. It's not, but it looks like a junk box on the video. So anyway, Papa Rhino says, I've got 8 or 9 WTG fixies now. Takar, they're all fantastic. That's I'm not sure who WTG is, buddy. Help me out. I'm having a little bit of a brain fart. Anyway, yeah, Justin Ohio says, take care. You're awesome peoples. Might see you, some of you in the Tri-State. I'll try to stop by and at least drop a hello and maybe hang out for a few minutes in Tri-States live. We'll see how the rest of the evening goes. But sorry about last week. The same issues that came up last week kind of poo-pooed our day here this week, and they're kind of serious, not health or work-related, but still serious, and we're going to have to straighten those out. Hopefully it won't interfere with the next live I do. But on that note, thanks for everybody for stopping by. Please remember to hit the like button on the way out the door if you haven't already done so, okay? That would be super cool. 28 people in the stream, only 17 likes. So if you're not in a car or somewhere where you can't hit the like button, please do that for me. Pretty Fly threw out a bunch of bananas. Stay cool until next time, folks. I hope everybody has a great night. That is true. Have a great night. Peace out to y'all. I love you. And I hopefully will see you soon. All right. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you soon. Later.